Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. How you all doing? Hello, fam. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Ifeoma Odunlami. I'm an immigration attorney with the Odunlami Law Firm. Happy New Year. All right, guys, I'm so excited to chat with you. We haven't talked in a long time. I took a good portion of December off, and now back in the new year, just trying to get things ready because you guys know we got to get ready for the new administration. But I'm here today. I want to wish you guys a happy new year, and I want to talk about a topic that should be of benefit to all my immigrant family out there. So when you come in, say hello. I've missed you all. It's been so long. You know, I had to actually remember how to set up the camera and everything again because it's been a while. But I want to wish you guys a wonderful new year, and let's get started. We have a lot to do this year, and I just want to assure you guys that my law firm, Odunlami Law Firm, is here supporting our fellow immigrants. We're here to help you get legal status so that you can live here in the United States without fear of deportation, without fear of family separation. And so, unless you've been under a rock, we all know that January 20th is the beginning of a new era for American immigration. We have a new president. We have President Trump coming in, and he campaigned on immigration as a platform. So we're expecting a lot of changes, a lot of changes. So my law firm is in New Jersey, but we serve clients in all 50 states. We primarily work on family law, family immigration cases, humanitarian cases, U visa, T visa, SJIS, and VAWA. We're very experienced. We've been doing this for a long time, and our passion and our purpose is to help our fellow immigrants to gain legal status. And like I've said before, the next 4 years is going to be extra challenging because we know what happened in Trump 1.0. So we expect that nothing less is going to be showing up in Trump 2.0, but we're smarter, we're more prepared, and we have the goodwill of civil rights organizations, lawyers, all ready to fight for fellow immigrants. So today I want to talk about 10 things that we can expect to change in the new Trump administration. I always tell you guys, knowledge is power. I cannot tell you how many people come in for consultation to my office and they have had errors made in their cases, which they didn't even realize were problematic because they got the wrong advice or they didn't know otherwise. So it's always important, more than ever in this administration, to differentiate between fake news, because there's a lot of that going on in social media. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of people on social media pretending to be me, especially on TikTok. So I want you to be very cautious. We file reports with the police on these people. So if you've received any information from them with their names or their bank details, give it to me. I send them to the police. So I want you to be extra cautious in who you engage with, because on TikTok, there must be like 10 people pretending to me at the minimum. You know it's me when you see it's kind of clear. Look at the spelling of the firm name. It's probably not properly spelled or spelled with something that allows them to create that. You typically, the person doesn't have a lot of followers. On all my social media platforms, I have a lot of followers. On Instagram, I have over 70,000. On TikTok, I have over 60,000. On YouTube, I think I have maybe 17,000. On Facebook, I may have 40,000. So when you see somebody with my image and they have 18 followers, that's not me. And if you are in doubt, call my office, 973-993-1900. That's the number to reach us. Or you can send an email to support@odunlamilaw.com. Now, we have a WhatsApp number, which I don't remember the number, but primarily the best way to reach us is through our American phone 973-993-1900, or send an email to support@odunlamilaw.com. So let me get started because we have quite a bit of a bit to talk about, and I only have till 2 p.m. So what are the things that we're expecting that's going to change? Well, number one, marriage cases. We do expect that there's going to be interviews on pretty much all marriage cases. So in the Biden administration, we were having interviews waived, a lot of interviews waived, and the cases were progressing really fast. We were getting cases approved within literally 90 days, sometimes 5 months. They would look at the quality of your submission and determine that, it's a bona fide marriage and there are no inadmissibilities, so approve it. So we were getting green cards in our office, and everything was moving fast. But in this administration, because of how it worked in the last administration, we expect that every marriage case is going to be called for an interview. And what does that mean for you? Well, that means that you really need to take your cases seriously, because I know people who are like, oh, I've been told it's really easy. And USCIS encourages that by telling you, oh, you can do it yourself. You could, but do you want to take the risk of making a mistake that could get your case denied, or filing when you should not have filed because there's something that you should have addressed first? For instance, if you were divorced before and your divorce was not properly done, you shouldn't be filing a petition. You need to get your divorce properly done. Maybe you have to maybe remarry your spouse, your current spouse who's going to be filing for you, before you file a petition. Because if you file the petition and USCIS makes a determination that your divorce decree was fake or was not properly done, it means you submitted fake legal documents, and there are consequences for that. Your case could get denied, you could get deported, or or maybe it's something else. So it's really important more than ever that even if you think you have a simple case, you should talk to an attorney you trust, have a proper consultation, and if possible, if you can afford it, hire the lawyer so that they can come with you for the interview. And I'll tell you something else. If USCIS does a Stokes interview, and a Stokes interview means that they separate you and your spouse and ask the same question, they separate you and your spouse and ask the same question. If there's no one there who is there to witness what is being said, a lot of times they try to intimidate the US citizen into withdrawing the case. So you want to have a lawyer there to just for support. It's because your lawyer is not going to testify for you. We're just there to make sure everything goes smoothly. We make sure that your documents are properly presented. We make sure that there are no errors. And, we prep you for the interview so that you're confident when you're answering your questions. All right. So that's number one thing we expect. And so if every case is going to be scheduled for an interview, what does that mean? It means that there's going to be a delay in processing times, because the Trump administration is doing a lot with regards to mass deportations and all this stuff. So guess what? That affects legal immigration, right? So we do expect there are going to be delays for work permits, travel permits, green cards, and all that. There's probably going to be delays. So just expect that, okay? So if there's going to be delays, you really don't have the time to make mistakes and have to refile, and it's just a nightmare. So do yourself a solid and do it right the first time, okay? So the third thing, so we've talked about marriage cases, interviews for all cases, we expect that. We've talked about delays in processing times of all cases, we expect that. Then the third thing that we hope really doesn't happen is that dreaded I-944 form. Some of you may not remember this form, but it was a nightmare in the first administration. Oh my God, it was a nightmare. So the I-944 form is it's the Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. That form was horrible. Even USCIS officers didn't want those forms. They didn't want to have to deal with them. So we're hoping that this form doesn't come back again. But if it does, then it does. And that's a form that's quite complex. So so that's number 3. And number 4, we are going to talk about we're expecting more requests for evidence because that's what happened in the last administration. We're gonna expect denials without a notice of intent to deny, because that's what happened in the first administration. So typically, if a case is going to be denied, USCIS will give you something called, just give me a second. There's a user here who's been obnoxious, and I just put him on timeout. Typically, if a case is insufficient with regards to its evidence, or there's some inadmissibility, there's a problem, USCIS typically will send you something called a notice of intent to deny, or they may send you an RFE. But as with the first Trump administration, they were denying cases without giving you that notice. So we expect that. Again, that's why it's more important to make sure that when you submit your case the first time, that you're doing, you're presenting a package that is thoroughly reviewed, thoroughly accurate, and ready for a decision, a positive decision by USCIS. So that's number 4. So number 5, what are we expecting with regards to TPS? TPS is, what is TPS? Temporary protected status? Yeah, I lost that for a minute. So basically, there's certain countries who have experienced some kind of war or some kind of environmental disaster that are the citizens of those countries who are present in the United States within a certain period of time are allowed to stay here and work here as a result of the disaster in their country. So there are several countries that have TPS protections. Several people from certain countries that have TPS protections. We do expect that Trump is probably going to try to revoke those TPS designations, which they can. I read that they can revoke it as long as the government gives 60-day notice. Now, the Biden administration recently extended the status for nearly 1 million immigrants from El Salvador, from Ukraine, from Sudan, and from Venezuela to sometime in 2026. So that gives them some protection. Now, if you have any other pathway, because there's some clients that have a pathway through something else, but they choose not to take advantage of that. If you have any other pathway, apart from TPS, it might be something you want to file, because we're not expecting the TPS protections to last for much longer. So you might want to talk to an attorney and see if you qualify for something else. Sometimes you don't even know what you qualify because you have not been properly screened. So that's number 5. So number 6 is VAWA interviews. Now, this started in December of 2024. They are now having VAWA interviews. My firm has not had any VAWA interview yet, but some lawyers have had VAWA interviews. And it's basically, they want to make sure that USCIS just wants to make sure that the story you wrote is your story, because there was a lot of fraud with VAWA cases. And I saw some people come to my office with a denial, and then I'm asking them, well, what happened? And they would say something like, the person that wrote it for them didn't have them review it, they didn't know. So there's a lot of people committing some fraud. And so that's the reason why VAWA is being careful with reviewing those cases. So they will call you for an interview if they want to ask questions. Now, does that mean you should be worried or anything? No, it doesn't. They want to get more information. They want to make sure that your case is a bona fide VAWA application. All right. Now, so what else are we expecting? Well, number 7, I-693. This has already been put in place. There's a new law that requires you to have your medical form, the form I-693, the sealed form I-693. You must submit it together with your adjustment of status application. And if you don't, it's going to be denied. Now, the form I-693 is basically good indefinitely. There are no expirations for it anymore. But the one thing you must know, and you must let other people know this, is that you have to make sure that when you submit your adjustment of status application, you're submitting your medical form, okay? And of course, you know you're not supposed to open it, right? You guys know that, right? So, number 8 is mass deportations. We know that there's going to be mass deportations. It's all actually already started in certain places. Like we've heard that people go to pay traffic tickets, and and ICE is there waiting for them. We've heard that there have been work raids. I don't know, even though it's the incoming what's his name again? I don't remember his name. Tom, I think, denies that they're planning raids. I don't know. So next week, I'm gonna have a Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube, TikTok, discussing how to protect yourself in this era of mass deportations. What are your rights? Okay, I'm going to go over those so that you know how to handle this period of mass deportations. All right. Yeah, Ella says they're already happening here in California. I know, I heard about that in California. So VK says, how bad would this mass deportations get? VK, we expect it's gonna be bad, but the 3 people they're targeting are people who already have an order of deportation, who've been deported already, people who just came in through the border, people who have criminal records. We're expecting that those are going to be their priority, because everybody cannot be their priority. But then there's going to be collateral effects, because if there are people who maybe are together with these people who are a priority, if they see that you're not here legally, they can grab you as well. And I think I read something about Tom saying something to the effect that there's going to be a lot of collateral deportations in sanctuary cities, because the police is not cooperating. They're going to go there looking for people, and they may find people who are not even on their priority list. So I don't know how that's going to work, but they have promised mass deportations. They're building detention centers, and there's no reason not to take them at their word. So the important thing to do is, if you haven't spoken to a lawyer, do so now and see if you have a pathway. Because if you have a pathway, it could protect you from being deported. For instance, if you could qualify for T visa, U visa, VAWA, SJIS, a pending petition could protect you. So reach out to a lawyer that you trust and get properly screened. We're happy to assist anybody in all 50 states. Our phone number is 973-993-1900. All right, so I'm going to go through this real quick so I can take like a couple questions. Now, the other thing that's happening right now, we expect it to continue to happen, is not really a Trump administration thing. It's really something that started with Biden, but I wanted to mention it because it's probably going to spill over to the Trump administration. USCIS is refunding the filing fee for that defunct parole in place that Biden instituted. I think the fee is $580. They're saying they're going to return that filing fee because that didn't work out anymore. So if you file for the Biden's parole in place and you had an attorney, you might want to reach out to your attorney, see if they gave her the 580 or him the 580, or they may send it to you directly. So that's that. So that's actually some good news. Now, H-1B visas, we're going to expect something. I feel that this is going to be something good because Donald Trump is in favor of H-1B. Elon Musk is in the favor of H-1B. And of course, they're in favor of it because it benefits their businesses, and they're willing to, make the exception for that. So we're going to see what's going to happen. Maybe they'll extend, they'll increase the amount of, the number that they have for H-1B visas. Maybe they'll extend, the definitions of certain people who qualify for certain things. I don't know, but I know there's already changes in the pipeline. So I'm really excited about that for people who are looking to file H-1B. And so we're going to keep you informed when that happens. And then number 10, DACA. I think this is number 11. So you have one extra, DACA. Your guess is as good as mine. I know the first administration, they really tried hard to get rid of DACA, and it was in the courts for the longest time. It's still in the courts. So I don't know what's happening to DACA. It will really be sad if DACA was terminated, but we'll definitely let you know what's going on. Okay, so let me ask a couple of questions, and then I got to run, but I will be back next week. I'm going to try to be back on Tuesday. Tuesday or Thursday typically is when I can do my lives, because the other days I'm doing consultations. So let's see, looking for questions on Instagram. So C Moore says the I-129F, because my wife is still abroad trying to bring her to the United States. Please, can you help me? Of course, we can certainly help you. The I-129F is a fiancé visa. Give us a call, 973-993-1900. We're happy to assist you. We do a lot of fiancé visas. Okay, so let's go back to, so Beautiful Soul says, what do I need to file for my spouse? How soon should we file after we get married? After we got married last month, we have 2 children together already, and I need to file before Trump starts his tyrant. So Beautiful Soul, you can file as soon as you want. There's no requirement to wait any period of time to file a spousal petition. And what do you need? You need proof that it's a bona fide marriage. You need proof that your spouse has no inadmissibility. You need proof that you're qualified to file. You're paying your taxes. You're making enough money. You haven't been arrested or convicted for any child endangerment, child abuse, elderly abuse, that kind of stuff. And what else? There's a lot that you need to file a petition. So it's not really something I can do on a live, but if you want us to assist you, we're happy to do so. Call my office, 973-993-1900. And so Adriana Dos Santos on YouTube. My son is an American citizen over 21, and I had a deportation in absentia due to a mistake done by my previous lawyer. I had to move and ask him pick. I don't know what the rest of the sentence is, but Adriano, I suspect you've been deported, but you have a U.S. citizen who can file for you, and they can, but whether or not you can come back to the United States depends on the reason you were deported. So if you want us to assist you with that, give us a call, 973-993-1900. And so Brooklyn Frank says, how long does it take to get a work permit after you do your biometrics? I would say anywhere from 6 months, maybe to a year. At least that's what we're seeing in my office. It could be a little longer. Okay. So, all those processing times are going to change a little with the next administration. So go to the case processing website and take a look and see what it says. So Francisco Ado says, my daughter filed an I-130 and 485 for me and my husband in March 2023. She received her green card in June 2024, but her husband got his work permit and advanced parole, but his I-130 and I-485 still pending. Well, sometimes that happens, there might be a reason for it. I mean, typically when you file for your mother, it typically is quicker because, there's no issue with regards to the fact that she's your mother. Sometimes with regards to a paternity, there might be some issues with regards to paternity if you were not married to your spouse at the time your child was born, or maybe there's something that they're just looking for. Maybe just the officer just didn't get around to it. I don't think you should be worried because it's just March 2023. It's not even a year, so just wait and see how that goes, okay? Let's see. So Michael Teta says, how long does it take to get a receipt notice from USCIS after filing an I-485 and I-130? It's almost a month. It takes a little over a month. So Michael Teta, you're okay. It does take a little over a month. Sometimes it takes up to 2 months, so it really depends. But that's not, at a month, I'm not concerned, okay? All right. So I'm going to take one more question, and then I got to go. But thank you guys for wishing me a happy new year. I wish you the same. Let's see. All right. So Fabulosi says, my dad filed for us, but we haven't heard anything from them. Anything we can do to fast track that process? Not really, Fabulosi. That process, depending on how old you are, could take a really long time. So I don't know how long it's been, but the thing to do is to go to the, if you're not an immediate relative, go to the National Visa Center and see if you have to wait for your priority date to be current. If you're an immediate relative, which means you're under the age of 21, but if you're outside the United States, it's still going to take quite a while, because there's a process, a consular process. So guys, thank you guys for joining me, and I cannot wait to chat with you guys again. And we know that, like I said, the Trump administration is going to come with lots of changes, if anything, like the first administration, if we're to go by that. But we, I'm here ready to make sure I'm giving you updates on what's going on. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Well, I don't know how long TikTok's going to last, but I will come out with breaking news, explain topics. Please join me, ask questions. And I'm really excited for this new year. We have a lot of work to do, and we're ready for you guys. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.